I've been in the lab. I've been cooking. So here we go. I'm going to talk about the 4 things that I need to do. I need these ingredients to go in there, get in there at the right time, mix real well for my success. Okay? So, 4 main pillars, 4 main categories. First one is golf. Second is physical. Third is mental. And fourth is financial. It's basically 3: golf, physical health, mental health. Those are the only 3 I really care about. The last one, financial, it's more of just like if I run out of money, these are the things that I'm going to need to do to get back on track to fund the first 3 that I need to do. But the first 3, let me get into it. So the first thing, golf. I need to work on my golf swing. I need to make sure that it is sound mechanically for me to perform under pressure. That's it. I just have to make sure that I'm not going to falter under pressure because I know how to hit all the shots. I know what technique I need to do. I just have to make sure that it's solid enough for it to last a long period of time. It's solid enough that it produces enough speed and control and also to perform under pressure. Okay? That's really what I need the golf swing to be. I don't need it to be fancy, like I don't need it to be a long drive swing, so I hit it so far. I don't need it to be super accurate, like Mo Norman style. Like I don't need it to be like that. I just need it to be repeatable, where I can do the same shots that I'm thinking, that I'm planning, that I'm envisioning. Same shots, like 5, 10 times in a row, no problem. Under pressure, no problem. Okay, so that's the first main thing in the section of golf that I need to address. It's pretty decent in my opinion where it's at. It could be better. It always could be better for everybody, but it's pretty okay. Next is putting. Obviously, you got to make putts to win tournaments. You got to make putts to score well in golf, and there's no question about it. Like putting is very important. It's one of the main things. So I put in number 2 that I also need to make sure it is locked in. It is firing so well that I'm making or gaining strokes in my putting against the field. Next is it's more short game stuff. I listed it out, but they're all kind of bundled together: chipping, pitching, sand shots, and specialty short game shots. Pitching, 30 to 50, 60 yards or 20 to 60 yards. Pitch shots, distance has to be dialed in. I have to hit my numbers, land zone, spin control so that the ball rolls out the way I want it to, or spins back, whatever. Trajectory control, coming in low, coming in high. But basically, distance is what I need for pitching. Chipping is I have to understand that there's going to be bump and runs. That's going to be my friend, and make sure that I understand how much I need to fly it and roll it and be able to do that with multiple clubs, not just a sand wedge, not just a 60 degree. Make sure that I can do it with 8-iron if I need to. Practicing those are very important. So chipping, pitching, sand shots. Obviously, main goal is to not be in a lot of sand bunkers. But if you have to be, then you want to be able to get out of that as easily as if you are doing a bump and run chip shot. Okay? Missing in the right bunkers is great, but that's in a different category. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But just having a good technique where I'm not screwed if I'm in a bunker, or I feel unconfident. I feel fear when I'm in the bunker. I just don't want that. Okay, making sure that I am comfortable and confident in bunker shots. Hey guys, so I'm editing this and I see that I didn't explain to y'all what specialty short game shots are. So these shots are specialty shots that are outside the norm of chipping and pitching and sand shots, I guess. So like flop shots, like chunk and dump run shots. I know there's a bunch more. I'm sure Phil Mickelson can outline a bunch that he has come across. You rarely use them and you try to avoid them, but these shots you will come across once in a while, and you have to be ready for them. So I put them in there. It's a very small little thing, but I like to keep an eye on them so that, whenever I can practice them. Flop shots probably the most common. Everybody's seen it. Dump shots or chunk shots or shots that you purposely chunk, it really rarely comes out. But there's situations where, the rough is super deep, the ball is kind of buried in there, and, you're short sighted and you can't really flop it, you can't chip it, the ball's going to run out. Trying to flop it, you might go right underneath kind of thing. And so you kind of want to put an aggressive swing and chunk that ball, and the ball kind of comes out really dead, low, and barely runs out. And it's a real gamble. It's a shot that people have come across. I've come across it maybe once or a handful of times. But yeah, so those kind of shots are what I mean by specialty short game shots. And yeah, on with the video. The next points are more full shots, okay? So wedges, hitting full wedges, hitting three-quarter wedges, making sure that I am able to control that trajectory, start line, and understanding. Fuller shots going to have more spin. Three-quarter shots, less spin, more of a one-hop stop check, and able to use that well and able to hit my windows that I need. I don't want to pull wedges. I don't want to push them. I don't want to hit high wedges when I'm trying to hit normal trajectories. I don't want to hit fat shots when I'm hitting low wedges. Okay? Approach shots, basic, 125, 120 to, let's say, 180. Usually you don't really have more than 180 yards into the green, but let's say 120 to 190. Let's encompass all that. So approach shots, basically iron shots. Make sure, you give yourself a good opportunity to putt that ball for birdie after that shot, or you put yourself in a good position to save par no matter what. Okay? Again, same thing with the other full shots, controlling trajectory, controlling start lines, and understanding how to miss in the right spot. Next one is driving. Obviously, it's self-explanatory. You got to hit the ball off the tee in a good spot for you to give yourself the opportunity now to hit a good approach shot and hit a good putt or a good chip and have an easy time making pars and birdies, okay? If you can't drive the ball well into the right spot, you're not going to have fun, you're not going to score well, and you're just going to be grinding out there to save par or make sure you're not shooting over par that much, okay? I don't hit my drives that far like some of these guys on tour with, 175, 180, 185 miles an hour ball speeds. Guys are carrying that driver, 290, 310, 320, and these guys can, overpower some of these holes with their drives, and, they don't have to be as accurate. I'm probably carrying my driver 270 to 280, maybe a little further downwind, shorter into the wind, but I'm somewhere between 270 to 280, 275, let's say. I'm carrying my driver. I have to make sure that my drives don't deviate too far offline, and I'm in the fairway most of the time, so I can give myself a good opportunity from there. But yes, driving is a big thing. Okay? Next is going to be strategy and management, course management. There's a lot of things once your swing and your ball striking, your putting, chipping, short game, when they're relatively decent, a lot of strategy and management comes into play afterwards. So like, for example, when to be aggressive, when to be conservative and passive, well, not passive, but when to be conservative, when to be aggressive, when you are understanding the wind conditions, temperature, course conditions, right? Making sure you know your land zones, where to miss, not to short side yourself. We can go on for ages, but there's a lot of things. It's not just about hitting a ball 150 yards, 300 yards, 10 yards. It's not all about just hitting those numbers and hitting at the flag. It's more like a chess game where you're trying to position yourself a couple moves ahead, and also making sure that you allow your play to include some room for error. Like you don't want to bottleneck yourself and be like, I have to hit a perfect shot every time for me to score well, for me to do well. You don't want to do that. So yes, a lot of course management strategy. And I've always thought about that when I was younger, in the beginning of my golf career. The thing is, it changes once your game changes, once your swing changes a little bit, once you start hitting better shots and having more arsenal in your short game. That strategy will change, and it will evolve around kind of your strength and your weaknesses as well. So if those change, then your strategy and course management will change as well. And I'll go over that more later in detail as I am practicing, as I'm playing. But for now, just think about that as a big thing that I need to keep an eye on if I'm going to do well. Okay? And that relates to scoring, because you can hit bad shots but still score well. Like, I'm sure people talk about this. Like, you can hit the ball terribly, but your score's not that bad. Or you could hit the ball so well, you're striping it, you're puring shots, but your score is just so bad, you know? And it's something that, high-level players talk about, which is you need to have a mentality to score. It's hard to really articulate what that is, but like, for example, like grinding out a par. Like you hit your ball right into the right trees, and then, to score well, instead of going for a hero shot, trying to get onto the green, trying to fit through a narrow window in the trees, you might punch out sideways, have a long shot in, try to hit as the best shot to your best of your abilities in that one, and then try to hit a best putt to make sure you get par, at worst the bogey, and then making sure that you're mentally processing why you went wrong that hole to create such a bad situation, and then correcting it as fast as possible, and then bouncing back sometimes quickly and getting back on track. It's like a weird physical and mental part of golf where you are almost assessing like your swing and what you did wrong to create that situation, and then also working on your mental to not tilt yourself and make yourself clutch up as quick as possible and get back on track. But anyways, that's maybe talking about scoring in a negative way where we're defending, right? Defending ourselves from making mistakes and stuff like that. But scoring could be also thought as more of an aggressive, positive, attacking side where, when you are 1-2 under, you're not playing scared golf, right? You're making sure you still put your foot on the gas and you are attacking and you're still being aggressive and making plays to try to shoot 6, 7, 8 under. And it is scary. If you haven't been shooting 8 under since you're 12 years old, some of these pros, they've been doing it since they're like the teenagers, right? There is some nerve that comes with it. When you're 5 under or 5 deep, you're afraid of losing that. And you get nervous, you lock up, and then you do lose it. Or you don't go lower and you are stuck at 3, 4 under. And this is something that high elite level players talk about too. It's just having the mental capacity or the confidence or the belief that you deserve this and more, and you can do better, and you can keep going, and you can handle that kind of pressure. And that's what is required sometimes when you are at the cusp or the brink of shooting the best score of your life or shooting the course record, right? Or winning a tournament, You need to push through some of these boundaries, and a lot of it has to do with some mental and physical aspects. But yes, we're kind of blending in now with other categories, but I feel like scoring in the part of the golf is very important to think about because there is a lot of aspects to it. Okay? And then last couple of things in my golf section here, I wrote down stat analysis and tournaments. So stat analysis just means, making sure that you break down making sure that I break down my rounds and assess what my strengths and weaknesses are, so that when I'm practicing, getting better, improving, I can, maintain my strength and then work on my weaknesses so that they complement my strength, or they become my strength. Okay, if you're just out there shooting 2 under, 3 over, 5 over, 2 even par, whatever it is, and you just like, yeah, that was a good round. Yeah, that was a bad round. Yeah, I hit it like crap. Yeah, I putted well. It's not really going to help you. So I'm being a little bit more diligent on making sure that I'm not just like going about and going through the motions. You know what I mean? I'm being a little bit more analytical, making sure that I keep up with, okay, let's really break down what I'm good at and what I'm not good at, so I keep making sure that I'm improving day by day. Okay? So I'm not going to do any crazy stat analysis like strokes gained and all that you see on PGA Tour. They have AI, or they have the algorithms and Excel sheets that they do that does it for them. I'm not going to do that. I'm really going to make basic stat lines that works for me, and it will help me improve a little bit by little. And then once a certain level is reached, maybe I will do some kind of mathematical stat analysis. But until then, I might just do more of a general, more broader way of assessing my stats. And then tournaments, I think right now I'm not really ready to play tournaments. I know what it takes to win these tournaments. I mean, if you're not entering a tournament thinking that you're going to win, or you're trying to win, you're just like, oh, I'm going to enter a tournament just so, I get some experience. In the beginning, in the first part of your golf career, let's say, that's good that you should have that. But, I'm at a point where I can't be doing that anymore. It's not really helping me. I have to really make sure that I believe that I can win this tournament when I enter a tournament. So I think for me, I'm going to set a rule. I need to shoot under par 2 rounds in a row. And when that happens, then I will go and enter a tournament and try to play. I feel like, and it doesn't matter how many under par. It could be 1 under par and 1 under par 2 days in a row. I think if that still happens, I think it's still good enough to try and go and enter a tournament. 1 round in a row under par is not that hard, actually. It is quite easy, but 2 rounds under par it really does test you, and it's not easy. Let me tell you that. You have to break through a lot of mental barriers, as well as have your physical and swing and game in a spot that allows you to do that. It is a big achievement, and I think that is like a ticket for you to go and play a tournament in. Okay, so yeah, those are the things. I'll probably have an image or something outlining it right there. Okay, so that's my golf category. Okay, now let's move on to my physical health. Basically, in the beginning right now, I let me actually take it back. So I lost, I feel like, a lot of good physical health during COVID. I didn't really exercise. I was exercising a lot before then, and I was kind of peaking, and then COVID happened, and then I slowly just deteriorated. Only exercise I did was play golf 3-4 times a week, walking at least, but no gym, no other exercise, and I was sitting around a lot, gaming through COVID. So that really hurt me, especially because back then I was like 28, like 27, 28, something like that. So, when you're 30, you're pretty much peaking in your physical state. And for me to kind of lose out on a lot of that time around the end of my 20s to COVID really, really hurt, and I'm kind of recovering from that. So I'm not doing any crazy high-level strength training or anything like that. It's just all basic. I think I'm going to groove this in for a couple more years. I've already done it for a year now, and I'm going to try to groove it in a little bit more, and it's been good. But I again, like I talked about before, I think the goal is to try and play 5 rounds of golf in a row, walking, and be able to perform at my level of golf. When you're tired, you're gonna mess up, whether it be mentally or physically. Right? You get tired, you make sloppy swings, you start making silly mental mistakes, 3-putting, whatever it is. So if I'm able to stay in my game and be able to play 5 rounds in a row, that's a good benchmark for being in good health, being physically ready to be on tour. Okay, so that's the goal. That's my benchmark that I want to hit. And to do that, I kind of broken down some of these things. Some of these are a little bit more specific to me, maybe not for everyone. For physical training, I kind of divided it up into 3 main ones. The 4th one is more golf specific. But yes, 4 little sections. First is going to be endurance. Second is strength. Third is power. The 4th is speed. So I have a Bachelor of Science in Kinesiology, and what I learned in some of these classes, some of these physical education classes, is you need to program your workouts. You can't just go and work out, and it's not like, old days where you're doing back and bis and chest and tries and leg day. It's more like you need to work on your endurance, whatever exercise it may be. It could be a chest endurance, it could be leg endurance, right? And then that endurance kind of is your base support, and then you need to build strength on top of that. So max deadlifts, max squats, whatever it is, you need to build that up so that you are lifting as heavy as possible. And then you also need to change that into power, like doing power movements, like clean and jerks and snatches, or barbell snaps and stuff like that. There are some power things that you need to change your strength into. And then for golf, it's like you need to put all that endurance, power, strength into speed. And speed is tricky. It's not that easy. It's you need to do separate training for it, like speed training, like you've seen Bryson DeChambeau talk about. It's like, okay, you got to get your base right. Build a big, good, and wide and all-encompassing foundation with your endurance, and then get that strength up, get that peak as high as you can, and then power refines it, cuts away all the shit, cuts away all the nonsense, makes it really, really smooth, round, sharp, whatever you want to envision it. And then speed is you take that whole thing and then you freaking use it. You use it quickly, fast, whatever it is, okay? So for me, in my case, it's going to be swing speed, obviously. Trying to swing that golf club as fast as possible within some reason, right? I'm not swinging out of my shoes. I'm swinging it with control, but there's more speed to it. So those are kind of the things that I will talk about. Again, address it in later videos, but I'm thinking about those things. And then just to talk some about something specific towards me, shoulder is one thing for me. I don't think I talked about it yet, but shoulder is a big thing for me. I have something that I've done with my shoulders where there's some imbalance to it. I'll show you in my later video what that is. But there's a shoulder thing that I have to make sure that I keep an eye on. Flexibility, make sure that I'm stretching, I'm not losing what I already have in terms of mobility and flexibility. Injury prevention is another big one. I don't want to hurt my wrist, hurt my elbow, hurt my knees, whatever it is, hurt my back, and then put me out for a week or two, and that's really bad. That's a no-no, at least at this time. It's not good at all. I have to make sure that I watch out my gut health. My gut health isn't the best, so I have to make sure my nutrition is good. I don't eat too fried food, too heavy grease, whatever it is, drinking alcohol, all that stuff. I just got to make sure that I don't overdo any of them. In fact, I might cut some of these all out, like fried foods and alcohol, whatever. They're great, they're fun, but for the greater good, for the future, for the long-term success of things, it doesn't matter if I miss out on 10 years of alcohol. It sucks, but you're going to live until you're 100, 80 to 100, and I still got 40, 50 years left even if I miss 10 years of not drinking. So I'd rather make sacrifices now than be regretful later. Okay? So those are things. Nutrition. Oh yeah, supplements during my round. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I have been not doing well supplementing myself during my rounds when I'm playing golf. It's just there's other things that I was occupied with, my thoughts were occupied with, that honestly this is probably one of the bigger ones that I should have kept going. But I would play golf. I would have enough water and electrolytes, but nothing to eat. So I've been trying to correct that. You have to eat during your round, something, a bite, nuts, some jerky, whatever it is. You need to have something, because you're gonna crash and you're gonna have one hole where you shouldn't have bogeyed, or you shouldn't have lost the ball, or whatever it is, and that's usually because there's a dip in your fatigue or your mental focus, whatever it is, from the lack of nutrition. Especially when it's this hot here, your body just goes through it. Okay, so that, and then lastly, environmental elements. Dallas, Texas is very different from Vancouver. It's very hot. It's very dry when it's very hot, and it's very humid when it's raining, and it's very windy. There's a lot of pollen when it's spring season. There's just a lot. It's more intense. Everything is just like a notch little harsher, let's say. So for me, when I got here, it hit me all at the same time. That's why it took me a while to get settled into my place, getting an air purifier, getting a humidifier, all these things. Anyways, so it's a lot hotter here. That's the main thing that I notice. And sometimes it rains a lot too, so I just have to be okay with it. Wind is a factor, temperature is a factor, all these things. I have to be mindful. Just be mindful. I just have to be just consciously aware and not let it tilt me. Which brings it to my next category, which is mental. I do struggle with a little bit of depression. I do struggle with tilting. And the biggest thing for me, actually, that I outline here is I have to stop throwing. Like I have this bad habit, just this bad habit. I think it just comes from my childhood or my upbringing with my parents and seeing them kind of throw, especially like my dad. I need to just be really careful, because I have this bad, I'm going to say bad habit of just throwing a little bit. And what I mean by throwing is, let me give you a couple examples. You understand what the general meaning of throwing is, right? Like, you're winning. Like, let's say this is a game, right? Let's say it's a computer game. You're winning that game or that match, but you intentionally throw the game and you lose, or you intentionally make mistakes, sabotage, so that your team would lose or something like that, okay? So it's like a bad habit of intentionally, purposely losing. I mean, it's kind of an accident, but it's more of like a mindset, in my opinion, okay? So for me, sometimes I will make these bad decisions, usually too quickly. Like, I'm too I act before I think, kind of thing. And then I throw. Like, there has been occasions where I will throw. Like, for example, like money, like gambling. Like, I would, for some reason, make the dumbest decisions and lose when I'm winning, and stuff like that. And I don't want to get too into it. Maybe we'll have some story time later. But I have some crazy stories of me throwing some of the craziest things. And I see that in golf. I see that in life in general. And I need to make sure that I keep that in check which just basically means I have to think before I act and take things a little slower. For me, it's a better for me to have that rhythm. Generally, my mental health is pretty decent. I am pretty confident. I am pretty positive generally. So, if things were to go wrong, I bounce back quickly. I don't take things too seriously, too personally. Everybody's human, so everybody has these little Achilles heels you have to just be mentally aware of. You're not going to be perfect. You're not going to fix everything, but you have to just make sure that it happens less and you don't get affected too much by it, okay? My biggest motto in life is it's easier said than done, but I really stand by not making the same mistake twice, okay? You can make a mistake. Making mistakes is fine. That's how you learn, right? Okay, you drop a glass cup, it breaks. Oops, I made a mistake. I shouldn't do that again. But what happens with everyone is it just sneaks in. You just keep dropping that glass every once in a while. And you're like, oh my God, like, why did I do that? I did that. I freaking did that before and I know it's not good. Why did I do that? And then you're like, okay, let me not do that. And then time goes by and you forget. And then boom, somehow out of nowhere, you drop that glass again. It's just so hard. It's almost like their personality, or it's like their Achilles heel, right? Like I said, it's just you keep arriving at similar situations or similar settings where you're faced with a similar kind of decision or choice, and then you kind of make the wrong choice or the same wrong choice again, and then you make the same mistake again. I don't know if anybody deals with this. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I am throwing in a sense, and that's my thing. Like yes, my thing is I throw a lot, so I try not to throw, but it sneaks in once in a while, and that's one of my mistakes that I have to not make again. But it's hard. If you can try and do that for anything in life, I feel like that's how you become what you want to become, or that's how everybody gets better as a whole, as a community, as humanity. If we don't make the same mistakes ever, we would pretty much be God, right? Like, everybody would be like, I'm going to make all the mistakes in the world once, and then you never make that mistake ever again. That's like almost a superpower, I feel like. Like, if you could do that, you could probably become Superman. Boom. You're never making that same mistake again. So what I've done in the past couple days, I'm experimenting with this, is I am journaling now. I'm making little video vlogs of myself, daily video vlogs, just filming maybe a couple minutes or sometimes maybe longer if I have something that I want to get off my chest. But I've never really done any journaling, writing journals, recording myself daily, anything like that. But when you're like in elementary school or when you're younger, like they made you write journals. They made you do a little bit of journals. I've always wondered, like, why did they make us do journals? Like, my parents never told me to do journals. My parents never did journals either. I've also read online somewhere that successful people have journals that they keep. So I'm going to try it. I'm going to see if that helps me improve as a golfer, as a human, as a person, whatever it is. I'm going to try it. And so far, it's been helping me decompress a little bit. My brain is, what's the right word? I don't know, defragmenting a little bit. And I have a little more room in my brain rather than just being cooped up, all my thoughts being just stuck in my brain. And it's just like, I'm like bottling it up and, they're trying to get out, but I'm like, just thinking about it. That's what I'm doing from a mental side, okay? Motivation, momentum, positivity, confidence, all that's going to come naturally as long as you believe in yourself, right? You just got to believe you can do anything. And I honestly do believe that if you put your mind into it and you really make sure that you don't make the same mistake twice, you really can do anything in life. I think everybody can do it. You just have to believe that you can do it. That's the main thing too. Like, like in golf too, right? Like you shoot, you're like shooting over 100 and you're like, man, what does it take to shoot like 90 something or 80 something? Like, but then you shoot 80 something or 90 something one time, and then all of a sudden you're just shooting that score all the time, right? But back when you were shooting over 100, you couldn't even think about how you can shoot, in the 90s, right? It's so funny. Like, once you do something once you accomplish something or cross that line, it's almost like you can keep doing it over and over again. Because you've done it, so you believe in yourself, right? If you win a tournament or if you shoot under par, you're going to believe that you're going to do that again. It's so funny. And like that also, you see that in outside of like golf and stuff like that too, right? Like if you think about like world records in the Olympics for a second, somebody accomplishes something. Let's say like Usain Bolt ran that 100 meter at 9.4 something seconds, whatever it is. Next couple of years late down the road, somebody is going to beat that because they believed that, if this person can do it, why can't I? And then that he does accomplish it and more. And that's why records and everything gets better or it gets broken all the time because people start believing that they can do it and they can break it. We're talking about golf here. We're talking about hitting a freaking white ball over there, and then over there, and then boom, right over there. Like, it's not rocket science. Working out and, doing squats and hitting your PR. It's just you put some fucking barbells on the freaking rack, put some weight on there, put it behind in your back, and just fucking go up and down, man. It's not freaking a rocket science. You just have to believe you can do it and just do it. I mean, even rocket science, it's like you can study that and you can get it done. There's a lot more things you need to understand with that. But even that, rocket science is still within the realm of same thing. Believe, don't make mistakes twice, and just be confident and go for it. So, yeah, that's that part. I'm ranting now. This video is probably super long, but that's okay. Okay, so last part, financial. This is more like, okay, make sure that I'm not going broke, so that I can keep funding my journey, at least for a year or two. These are just brainstorming ideas of, what to do to make some extra cash flow. So just make sure that I can keep funding, keep fueling this passion, this journey. You know what I'm saying? Teaching. I can teach some kids. I can teach some people. You just gotta swing like this, baby. Give me $100. $100. Okay? I can work at, I don't know, In-N-Out. Fucking flip a couple burgers. The pay's not probably great, but boom, I can do it. I can go work at a car wash. Probably don't want to, but I can do it if it really came down to it. And these last three, they're a little bit more fun, This is way more fun to make money with, Betting on that Super Bowl, baby. Woo, dude, I gotta make another big bet in the next Super Bowl. And if I need to win that one, I can't be 0-2. Gotta get that money back, 7.7 grand, dude. Gotta probably bet double of that. Probably not, but anyways, I could bet some money to make some money, If there's a lock, I'm all over that shit. If there's a fucking lock, I'm all over that shit. I haven't learned my lesson ever with this shit, okay? I'm not making the same mistake twice. Yo, fuck the cheat, all right? So I could go play some poker now. Poker is a little scary, though. You need a little bankroll. So might have to do these other things and make a bankroll, and then I can play some poker. But yeah, some poker would be good. And then this last one, this might come way later, when I'm playing some tournaments. But I can get some sponsors, get them to give me some golf balls, some gloves, sponsor me and give me some free shit. I could use it. I need some balls. Oh, shit. Play a tournament, I do well, I win it, and TaylorMade looks at me and be like, yo, that Asian guy got some talent, man. I heard he doesn't make the same mistake twice, man. Maybe we should get that guy and pay him. Huh? Yeah, baby. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, all jokes aside, I think I have a pretty good solid plan. I'll probably add to it as I go. Obviously, once I start incorporating some of these a little bit more in depth into my practice and stuff like that, like this golf, physical and mental side, probably more things will pop up and things I need to work on. So yeah, so that's it. That's the plan. We're gonna start with golf. We're gonna make sure that the golf is in the right spot, so that I can play some tournaments. Physical is already happening. I've been doing it for a bit. Maybe ramp it up towards off season, but right now I'm not going too hard, just because it's golfing time. I'm not gonna lose golf time because I'm recovering from a sore fucking leg from squatting 225 or more. And then yeah, mental journaling. I think that's the biggest practice that I put in. It's been helping. I'm feeling a lot better. I was struggling a little bit. Being by yourself in a completely new place with no friends and anything, it takes a toll on you. We are social creatures, so we gotta talk. We gotta have friends, and it's been hard. All the people that I've met on the golf course are old Korean ladies, or just absolute dog shit golfers that I can't. Like, that's the one thing I realize too. I'm a nice guy and I want to be nice, but when it comes to golf, I can't take any chances. I can't. It's got to be cutthroat because I'm not 18. I'm not even 25. So I don't have time to lose. And for me, at least, I need to find guys that are at least my caliber or better so I can play with them. Or else I'm just going to be playing by myself. And blinders on and just kind of ignoring everybody else because I can't bring myself down to their level, if you know what I'm saying. So, yeah, friends have been hard. I'll get over it. So, yeah, that's the shit. That's the shit I need to do, and I'm gonna get it done. All right? You watch me, man. You fuck. Okay, well, boom. There you have it.